Good day everybody. Today we'll be going over the battle system changes for our beloved Bards in the upcoming expansion, Stormblood. Among all existing classes, Bards have received the most significant combat system overhaul, including changes to songs, utility spells, and weapon skills. So without further delay, let's get started. As with the other roles, ranged classes are presented with their own set of role actions to provide additional utility and customization to both Bards and Machinists. There is a total of 10 available ranged role actions, of which only 5 can be active at a time. Let's have a closer look at what they are. Available to both ranged and melee roles, Second Wind makes a return as the basic self-preservation ability on a moderate cooldown. Originally part of the Machinist's toolkit, Gray's abilities have been transferred over to ranged role actions, and can now be picked up by both jobs. Foot Graze binds the target in place. Leg Graze applies a significant heavy effect. Head Graze silences your target. And Arm Graze stuns the target for 2 seconds. One thing worth noting is that most abilities that provide some sort of crowd control, such as stunning or silencing or even jumping away, have had their potencies removed. The new skill Peloton takes on the functionality of the old Swift song, except it can now be used by Machinists as well. Invigorate is also present to help ranged classes manage their TP during extended fights. Tactician has become the new Army's Paean, granting TP restoration to all nearby party members without the need to keep singing it or the damage penalty, at the cost of significantly extended cooldown. The new action Refresh also takes on the functionality of the old Mage's Ballad, providing MP restoration to all nearby party members, behaving similarly to Tactician. And lastly, we have Palisade, a significant physical mitigation buff on a moderate cooldown, extremely useful for those cases where your tank needs a little help dealing with the incoming damage. And now let's move on to Bard-specific changes. As with all the other jobs, Bards also gain their own UI elements to help keep track of their songs and their respective effects, namely the new Army's Paean, Mage's Ballad, and the Wanderer's Minuet. The first major change worth noting is that the Wanderer's Minuet no longer increases weapon skill cast times, and weapon skills that previously had any cast time have now become instant. Full Requiem has been completely changed, and no longer reduces enemy magic resistance. It instead reduces enemy damage dealt by a very small amount. At level 64, the first game changer trait makes its appearance. Bite Mastery upgrades the old Venomous Bite and Wind Bite into Caustic Bite and Storm Bite respectively. The damage over time effects of these new weapon skills will largely interact with the new songs. Instead of a toggle, the new songs are now instant cast spells that last 30 seconds on a moderate cooldown. In addition to granting a small bonus to critical hit chance to all party members, each song interacts differently with the previous Bite weapon skills. The first of the 3 new songs is Army's Paean, which now grants stacks of repertoire when critical damage over time is dealt with Caustic Bite or Storm Bite. Repertoire significantly increases damage dealt, and can stack up to 4 times. The second song comes in the form of the new Mage's Ballad, resetting the cooldown of Bloodletter and Rain of Death whenever critical damage over time is dealt with the same Bite abilities. The final song is the reworked Wanderer's Minuet, granting the execution of a new ability called Pitch Perfect whenever critical damage over time is dealt with the Bite abilities. Pitch Perfect becomes stronger the more stacks of repertoire you gain during Wanderer's Minuet, capping out at 3 stacks. Troubadour is a new ability that applies an additional effect to any of the 3 songs covered earlier. For Mage's Ballad, maximum HP is increased. For Army's Paean, party members gain additional physical resistance. And for Wanderer's Minuet, additional magic resistance is granted. Additionally, if you're currently playing any songs, Battle Voice now increases the chance of direct hits by all affected party members on a very lengthy cooldown. Direct hits are stronger than normal attacks, but weaker than critical strikes. You may think of them as mini critical strikes. At level 68, a new trait causes Imperial Arrow to forcefully trigger the additional effects of songs, much like the critical damage over time effects of Caustic Bite and Storm Bite. The next new ability comes in the form of Nature's Min, significantly increasing all healing received by a party member, a tank's new best friend. And finally, the signature ability of level 70 Bards comes in the form of Refulgent Arrow, an extremely powerful weapon skill that can only be used while under the effect of Straighter Shot. Of course, not all abilities survived the combat system overhaul, and Bards had a significant amount of removed abilities. As part of the streamlining process, many of them were moved or merged to become the new role actions, while others were completely pruned. So, how hyped for the new Bard are you? The amount of changes is quite significant, so I'm afraid we'll have to wait until Stormblood comes out to truly appreciate the scope of the rework. For one, I am personally happy with the removal of cast times from weapon skills, as I personally could never get used to the original Wanderer's Minuet and the Gauss Barrel. But let me know how you feel about these changes. And lastly, what class would you like to see covered next? Let me know in the comments, and I hope to see you next time.